my name is Whitney Clark, and this is my community-based project for my lesson plan. I talked to a teacher named Miss Piles. She is a 9th through 11th grade health and physical education teacher, and with technology in the classroom, her struggles were having the students keeping engaged and on track during their assignments. The students had individual iPads and Chromebooks for the students. It's the usual use of technology that they had in the classroom. However, the students tended to drift off and not pay attention to the lesson and do their assignment. Like I said, Ms. Piles taught 9th through 11th grade from students ranging from 13 to 17 years old. It's a combination of students in each grade, so it's not just one 9th grade class, 10th and 11th. They're all integrated together, which makes it a little bit harder because of maturity levels being so different. So for Ms. Piles, I introduced 3 different types of technology. Google Virtual Reality being the first to try and help her problem of keeping the students engaged, and this, I believe, would help by introducing new technology in the classroom. What the Google Virtual Reality is a device other known as virtual reality or VR. It's a digital and physical world, a bridge to those both, digital and physical. VR lets you experience what it's like to go anywhere. Say you can't go to a museum or a concert, all these other cool things. But with virtual reality, you can, including the human body. You can look inside the human body and learn about all of that in detail rather than just seeing it in a textbook. Google Virtual Reality in a lesson on growth and development, which is the last lesson Ms. Piles had taught in her classroom that she had a little bit of trouble with keeping the students engaged using the technology that she really used every day in class. This technology would be really good for this. Like I said, you can look at the human body anatomy and the growth and development of a woman during pregnancy, which is what they also talked about during their last lesson. And I believe this will really keep the students engaged. The next piece of technology I would introduce to Ms. Piles to help keep the students engaged and on track would be Quizlet. This would be more to keeping them on track and making sure they're getting all the material they need to learn. Quizlet is a mobile and web-based study application that allows students to study information by learning tools and games. For me personally, I like to use Quizlet for the flashcards and the testing applications on it. This is a great application that allows students to become organized in their study and create different types of study materials, such as they can do flashcards, they can do their own little multiple choice question test, they can do many different options, little games and stuff to learn the material that's needed. And I believe this application will really help the students stay engaged and stay on track of their studies. Like I said, it allows them to use flashcards and learn option test matching, all of the above basically, and it can really get the students involved in their learning. Now, for the last piece of technology I would introduce is more on the creative side, which I believe is still important in a health class. The students can really express their creativeness in a health class using this Design a Book Cover website. This website allows you to take a specific book, or even in this case, what I did for her lesson right here. You'll start out by using the book cover, and you can say, instead of a book cover, you can use the stages of development in a fetus or in pregnancy, and use it in a health standard rather than doing it off of a book or a character or a plot. This will really bring creativity into your health class. As for the technology and the learning sequence, I believe that the best way possible for Ms. Piles to get all 3 types of technology in her classroom would just be start out with the Quizlet. And this session could go through the learning and the matching just to get the students aware of the material. And it can go over the growth and development of the process of the fetal growth and the pregnancy and everything that happens during reproduction. The students can find their way that best fits them individually to help them learn and practice the material. After that, they can move on to with partners or whatever is best for your class. Next, they'll continue with the Quizlet app. After the students are familiar with the material, you can pre-test them before going to the next activities and compare these results to the final results and see how your technology was applied and if it helped your students or not. After the Quizlet app, the students can go then through the virtual reality section of this lesson, and they'll be put into groups of 3 or 4, depending on how many headsets your classroom has. And they can go through the different anatomical views of the growth and development of our human bodies using the cardboard Google headsets and a smartphone, which most students will have. If not, that's why you put them in groups. The students will share their cardboard headsets with the students who actually do have the smartphones. The next step would be to open up the creative opportunities, which is using the Design a Book Cover website. This gets the students actually thinking and putting in using the material they learned beforehand and putting in the different stages of growth and development. Once the students create their cover, you can use this as an opportunity to give points out and display their work in your classroom or out in the hall for others to see your class's progress. The final stages of this lesson would be to assess what they all have learned, and this is where you can either use the Quizlet that can be reintroduced, or you can use something called Google Forms, which is similar to Quizlet testing. You can just make your own test on there. The students have begun the pre-test on Quizlet, so it could be easier to use Quizlet again for your post-test. Ms. Piles will now be able to compare how the students did prior to the virtual reality and the book cover section of the lesson to after and see if that helped her in any way. For the curriculum alignment with the standards, this curriculum goes along with mainly the health and wellness frameworks for grades 9 through 12. The Shape America and the ISTE are just basic standards for education and health education. Here's the health and wellness, the human and growth for the strand of human growth and development. And for this standard, I picked the HGD.1.HW.1. This best fits the curriculum for Ms. Piles. Even though it's kind of broad, her lesson was, this standard fits very well to what she was going over. So it says, analyze the growth patterns and development changes in humans throughout the life cycle. Here's just a general view of the Shape America, another one, and the ISTE. Now, for assessing the students' learning, we already went over this a little bit. You could have been taking place throughout the lesson without the students knowing. So, like a checklist or a partner checklist, something that could go on without the students knowing that you're actually assessing them. The Quizlet app, as we said before, and then another form that we mentioned earlier but didn't go into quite detail would be the Google Forms. Sorry, there's a typo. It's another way for Ms. Piles to create an assessment as we did in this class in SEED, which is very, very helpful. And it's pretty simple as well. And that is it. Thank you so much. And that was my community-based project.